You marrying into our family? A high school dropout as my daughter-in-law? Honestly, it's a nightmare. Today is supposed to be a joyful wedding day, and yet I feel sick to my stomach. Absolutely disgusting. This will go down as the most humiliating day of my life. You really don't hold back, do you, Brenda? Why would I? I have every right to be upset. A dropout becoming part of our prestigious family? It's ridiculous. If you despise me that much, maybe I shouldn't go through with the wedding. You clearly don't want me here. Should I call it off? Please don't pretend you have the guts for that. People like you don't get chances like this. You'd cling to this wedding like your life depends on it. I see. You don't believe I have the courage to walk away. That's why you've been pushing me, testing my limits, treating me like dirt. Even when Brett and I were just dating, I could sense your subtle jabs. But ever since the engagement was announced, you've taken your cruelty to another level. Oh, sweetie, you're not wrong. You do need to marry him, and I do need you to go through with this. Excuse me? You're admitting that? Why not? Let me spell it out for you. The plan is simple. You marry Brett, and then we get him divorced from you shortly after. You see, I just want him to have a marriage record. People talk when a man reaches his 30s and hasn't been married once. It reflects poorly on him, you know? But if he has a brief marriage on record, especially with someone like you, then we can spin the story. It was a mistake. She was uneducated, poor, not a good fit for our family. People will sympathize. They'll understand. They'll pity him, not judge him. You're serious? You planned all this just so Brett could check a box on his social resume? Exactly! And let's be real, a dropout like you is perfect for that narrative. You ran away from school, probably because you couldn't handle it. You're undereducated, poor, and lack social polish. So when we explain the divorce, everyone will just nod and go, of course it didn't work out. She was from the wrong side of the tracks. You're doing us a favor by playing this role. I had hoped, even after everything, that we could at least try to be a family. I was willing to make an effort. I told myself it would be hard, but Brett was worth it. But now I see. To you, I'm nothing but a disposable tool. You were never family, and I thought I made that crystal clear when I gave my speech earlier. Having a dropout for a daughter-in-law is a nightmare. You heard that, didn't you? Then I guess I'll give you exactly what you want. I'll end this nightmare. Right here, right now. What are you talking about? I won't be part of this sham of a marriage. You want to use me and throw me away? Not happening. You can take your insults, your schemes, and your pathetic obsession with image and shove them all. I'm done. The wedding is off. What? You're not serious. We have guests outside. The ceremony is about to start. Then let them know the truth. Tell them your plan to exploit a girl you looked down on from the beginning. Tell them how you tried to manipulate me into becoming your scapegoat so Brett wouldn't look like a failure. Better yet, I'll tell them myself. I'll make sure everyone hears what you said. The recording is on my phone. Every single word you just said is saved. You recorded me? Of course I did. I had a feeling today would go exactly like this. I hoped I'd be wrong, but I came prepared. You can't do this! Think of Brett! I was thinking of Brett. I loved him. I believed he loved me. But if he let this happen, if he stood by and allowed you to treat me this way, then maybe I was wrong about him too. This will ruin everything! You'll regret this! No, what I would regret is marrying into a family that sees me as disposable. What I would regret is sacrificing my dignity to be accepted by people who never saw me as human. You wanted me to be a blemish on your son's record. Well, now I'll be the line he never crossed. You're a nobody. You'll go back to your sad little life and never find someone like Brett again. Maybe, but I'd rather be alone with my self-respect than married into a house built on rot. Goodbye, Brenda. You'll regret this, you stupid, ungrateful girl! You'll never find another man like Brett! That's the point. Cedric, I need you to bring me a change of clothes, urgently, and the car too. I'm sorry to rush you, but I need everything here within the hour, please.
Understood, my lady, of course. But if I may ask, today is your wedding day, isn't it? Has something happened?
That woman, my future mother-in-law, or at least she was supposed to be, she never intended to welcome me as family. She just wanted to use me.
Use you, my lady?
She admitted it, right to my face. She said she only agreed to this marriage so her son could have a respectable divorce on record. Apparently, it's better for his reputation to be divorced than never married at all. And do you know why she picked me as the ideal scapegoat? Because I'm a high school dropout. Because she thinks someone like me is disposable, an easy villain to blame.
That is unthinkably cruel. You've always been honest about your background. You've told every potential partner the truth about your education and your circumstances. That woman had no right to weaponize that against you.
Exactly. When Brett told me he didn't care about my academic past, I believed him. I wanted to. I thought maybe I'd finally found someone who saw me, not my resume. But now I see the truth. They didn't care about me. They only saw a tool, a nameless, faceless placeholder they could throw away once they got what they wanted.
Then we must leave immediately. This is no place for you. You are no one's pawn.
I won't be a pawn, Cedric. Not for anyone. I won't walk down that aisle just to be discarded later. I'm going to crash this wedding, Cedric. I'll stop it before it begins. Can you be ready in under an hour?
Of course, my lady. I will have the car prepared and your things packed within the next 20 minutes. Where shall I take you once you're ready?
Anywhere but here. Ashley, where the hell are you? You walked out of your own wedding, in the middle of the speech, no less. And you took off your dress and stormed out like a lunatic? Get back here immediately! Why should I come back? You're the one who said it, remember? That having a high school dropout as a daughter-in-law was a nightmare. If that's how you really feel, wouldn't not getting married be the better option for everyone involved? Why are you yelling at me when you're the one who insulted me in front of everyone? Because what you did was beyond outrageous. Walking out in the middle of the ceremony. That's not just disrespectful, it's humiliating. Oh, I'm the one being disrespectful? Are you seriously saying that? What do you mean? Everyone at the venue saw what happened. You stood up there during the speech and tore me down, called me a dropout, mocked me, degraded me in front of a room full of people. Do you even remember what a wedding speech is supposed to be? It's meant to be a celebration, filled with blessings and warm wishes. Even the staff looked uncomfortable. The guests were stunned. And you thought it was funny. Some people were laughing. Don't pretend everyone was against me. Yes, some people laughed, but not because they agreed with you. They were laughing because they were shocked. Because a grown woman was standing there spewing pure venom at a bride on her wedding day like it was comedy hour. They weren't laughing with you, Brenda. They were laughing at you. How dare you talk to me like that? You earned every word. I agreed to marry Brett because I believed in him. But after hearing that speech, I've realized what I'd really be marrying into. A family where even basic respect isn't guaranteed. Where a woman can stand on a podium and call her future daughter-in-law bottom tier trash like she's announcing the weather. No thanks. If that's the kind of environment I'm expected to call home, you can keep it. You're ruining everything! The wedding is in shambles now! Brett's reputation is going to be destroyed! Do you even care what this does to him? His reputation? He sat there while you slandered me, did absolutely nothing to stop you, and let your speech go uninterrupted. Trust me, he's already ruined his own reputation. He didn't stand up for me. He didn't speak out. To every guest in that room, he looked like a man who couldn't protect his own bride. They see him for what he is now, a spineless mama's boy. You're humiliating my son! No, you humiliated him. You humiliated me. You embarrassed your whole family with that disgraceful speech. All I did was leave. If I had stormed out with no context, sure, maybe people would blame me. But they heard you. They saw what you did. You made this mess. And now you want to blame me for the fallout? You ruined it! The wedding is officially cancelled! Do you know what kind of disgrace this is for our family? Britt's going to be the laughingstock! This will follow him for the rest of his life! He already is the laughingstock. Everyone at that wedding saw what happened. Your speech didn't just insult me. It exposed him as someone who lets his mother do his dirty work. If he wanted to save face, he should have stopped you. He didn't. Now he's just as responsible as you are. You don't understand. I was doing what was best for our name, for our family. Middle school dropouts drag us down. You should have just gone through with the marriage, let it end quickly and moved on. That was your role. My role? I'm not a prop in your twisted PR campaign. You wanted me to be a sacrifice, a scapegoat for a clean divorce that would earn your son's sympathy. And now you're mad I didn't play along? You used me. And you don't even have the decency to apologize. You were already living in shame as a dropout. Why not go a little further and take one for the team? Then why don't you take one for the team, Brenda? If your son's reputation means that much, maybe you should be the one to sacrifice something, not a woman who did nothing but try to build a life with a man she thought she could trust. But clearly, I was wrong. You can't just leave like this. We need this marriage. Even if it ends quickly, it has to happen. Otherwise, everything falls apart. You've made it very clear that you only want me around for optics. But let me make this clear. I am not a tool for your social schemes. I am not a pawn you can sacrifice for the sake of image. And I will not be a wife to a man who sees me as disposable. Ashley, be reasonable. Just go through with it. You can leave afterward. That's not reasonable. That's manipulation. You want me to walk into a marriage knowing it's a trap. But no, Brenda, you've burned that bridge. Please think about how this will look. At least pretend, for the family's sake. You're still thinking about appearances. Meanwhile, I'm thinking about dignity. Tell me, how many women have you done this to before? How many lives have you ruined with your obsession over the family's name? You may have gotten away with it before, but not this time. Not with me. You'll regret this. You'll always be a dropout. Always be beneath us. Maybe, but I'd rather be a proud dropout with self-respect than a bitter woman clinging to titles, terrified of her own reflection. Goodbye, Brenda. Until Brett, congratulations. He dodged a bullet. So did I. What the hell is going on? Brett just yelled at me like I've never seen before. You said you're rich? That if anything happened, you were someone he could rely on. How the hell is someone like you, a high school dropout, rich? Ah, so he finally told you. He always had this weird pride about it, never wanted to bring it up in front of you. I guess he finally snapped. Pride? That's ridiculous. You told me your parents are gone. So what? You inherited something? Even if there was insurance, that's not what I'd call rich. My parents didn't just have life insurance. They owned a company. What? Yes, they ran a small but successful firm. After the accident, all of it passed to me. Of course, I have a trusted management team handling the business now. I don't run it directly, but I hold the shares. The estate included assets, properties, and yes, staff. We have a housekeeper and a financial manager. You didn't care to listen, but I did explain this when we met. You never said anything like that! And even if you did, what kind of dropout brags about their tragic past? I didn't brag, I told you the truth. When we met during the family introduction, I explained everything. My parents were in an accident when I was 13. Both of them fell into a coma. Doctors told me they wouldn't make it, so I gave up continuing to high school to care for them. I spent a year by their side until they passed. Afterward, I enrolled in a distance learning program while living off my inheritance and working part-time. I don't remember you saying it was so serious. Of course you don't. You never listened. You thought I was disposable and beneath you. You assumed I was a dropout because I was lazy or stupid. But the truth is, I made a painful, grown-up decision at 13. Now tell me again, Brenda, what part of that makes me low class? Well, maybe I misunderstood. You didn't just misunderstand. You dismissed me. You assumed I'd never be good enough for your son. But now, suddenly, when the topic turns to money, I'm valuable. Tell me, Brenda, did you contact me just to try and get me to reconcile with Brett? Or are you hoping I'll support you? No, I'm not some beggar crawling to a dropout for scraps. You sure? Because this little chat of yours reeks of desperation. Let me be perfectly clear. I will never reconcile with your family. I have no interest in people who only see me as a tool when it benefits them. So, I heard. Brett's situation took a turn for the worse, didn't it? How did you? Word gets around. I heard that after the whole wedding fiasco, nobody wants to deal with him anymore. And now you're scrambling to find him another bride? That's right! Brett has a decent job and a good heart. He doesn't deserve to be rejected by everyone. Oh, Brenda, you still don't get it, do you? What is there to get? He just needs someone who can give him a respectable marriage, that's all. No, Brenda, you're trying to find someone who'll marry him just to divorce him, so his record shows he was married once. That's not normal. No one wants to be used like that. There have to be some women willing to do that. Maybe, but none of them would ever agree to marry Brett. You know why? Why? Because you exist. What's that supposed to mean? You're a nightmare. A controlling, loud, arrogant woman who thinks belittling others is a hobby. No one wants to marry into a family where the mother-in-law humiliates people in public. No one wants to be treated like I was. And Brett? He couldn't even stand up for me at his own wedding. He's just shy, you know that. He's weak. Being shy is one thing, but watching someone get publicly shamed and doing nothing to stop it, that's not shyness, that's cowardice. I didn't mind that he was soft-spoken, but I do mind that he lacked the courage to stand up for what's right. That's why no one wants to be with him. They've seen what kind of man he is. You don't know anything about him! I know enough. And frankly, the fact that you're pushing to marry him off to just anyone speaks volumes. You don't care about love, compatibility, or respect. You only care about your reputation. He's a good boy. To you, maybe. But being a good boy doesn't mean anything if he can't protect his partner or stand by her side. You wanted me to be a placeholder wife, a decoy. Now you're mad no one wants to play that role. That's not true. He just needs a chance. He had one, and you blew it for him. You turned a wedding into a public circus. No one forgets something like that. And if you truly loved your son, you'd stop trying to fix this by using other women as shields for your own shame. Excuse me? What is this I'm hearing? You were planning to financially support one of my relatives? Ah, so the news finally reached you. Yes, I was considering supporting your relative's auto repair business. It's not finalized or anything. It was still just in early discussion stages. You never said a word about this to me. When did this even happen? That's because there was nothing concrete yet, and I didn't feel the need to bring it up. It all started shortly after the engagement. My car broke down, and Brett mentioned that one of his relatives ran an auto repair shop. I went there, got excellent service, and that's how I got introduced to the business. But supporting them? Sure, the business wasn't doing great, but you can't just throw money around because they fixed your car. That's not the only reason. Yes, I felt a connection because they were family to my fiancé at the time, but there's something else. My parents passed away because of a car accident. Not just any accident. It happened due to mechanical failure from poor maintenance. Since then, I've been extremely cautious when it comes to car upkeep, and when I saw how diligent and skilled your relative was, I realized it'd be a loss for the community if the shop shut down. But still, it's out of order! If you are going to support someone, shouldn't your first priority have been helping your fiancé's immediate family, his parents? Oh, do you need financial support? Well, I didn't say that, but... Interesting. Because I distinctly remember you saying that my mere presence in your house, a high school dropout, was enough to damage your family's reputation. A disgrace, you said. That was just... If I'm such a disgrace, then accepting support from me would be laughable, wouldn't it? That's why I didn't offer. I wanted to be respectful and avoid putting you in an embarrassing position, but now, suddenly, you expect to be first in line for handouts? Please, don't make me laugh. It's not about handouts. I was just asking why your fiancé's family wasn't your top priority. Because real support goes to people who need it, not those who look down on others and only remember their family connection when they want something. You only call me part of the family when it's convenient for you. But let's be honest, wouldn't it have been humiliating to receive help from the dropout you said was a burden? That's not what I meant, and you know it! You called me a low-class dropout multiple times in front of guests. You told me I was a stain on your family's name. So yes, that's exactly what you meant. Now you expect me to invest in you? Sorry, I don't support people who treated me like garbage. That's not fair. I was only asking about helping your in-laws. That's normal. In-laws? Brenda, the engagement is broken. There is no marriage, no legal tie. You don't get to play the in-law card when it suits you. You tore that bond apart with your words. So that's it? You support some distant cousin fixing cars, but you won't help us? Yes. Because that distant cousin treated me with respect, helped me during a time of stress, and didn't call me a burden. Because that cousin earned my trust. Support isn't about blood. It's about integrity. And you lost any right to call on mine the moment you publicly humiliated me at what should have been my wedding. You're just doing this to hurt me, to spite me. Oh no, spite would have been telling everyone what you said to me privately. Spite would have been posting the speech you gave at the wedding, where you mocked me for the world to see. But I didn't, because unlike you, I have a sense of dignity. This isn't about revenge. It's about protecting myself from people who use others and then cry family when they want something. You're just bitter that you're alone again. I walked away from someone who wouldn't stand up for me. That doesn't make me bitter. It makes me wise.
My lady, the background investigation on your mother-in-law has been completed.
Thank you, Cedric. You're as efficient as ever. I truly appreciate it.
There is no need to thank me. This was something I insisted on undertaking myself.
I'm aware, but may I ask what drove you to such lengths? I don't recall requesting a private investigation.
Forgive my forwardness, but it was personal. I could no longer stand by and remain silent after how the lady, your mother-in-law, has treated you. She looked down upon you, called you low-born, mocked your sacrifices. She dismissed your chance to forego university for the sake of your brothers, and then ridiculed you for having cared for your single, dying parent.
That wasn't the first time I've been insulted from my past, but to you, I must seem foolish, bearing it all with silence.
Never! If anything, your strength astounds me. I was there. I saw what you endured. You, a young girl barely out of school, working 2 jobs while feeding 3 mouths. And yet you never once complained.
What choice did I have? If not me, then who would have taken care of them?
Precisely, which is why it was all the more infuriating to hear your in-laws speak of you as if you were lesser. Especially your mother-in-law. The cruelty in her tone was not casual, it was deliberate.
And so, you decided to dig into her past?
I had a suspicion. You see, your father-in-law's obsession with academic prestige, his constant commentary on lineage, alma maters, and qualifications, it felt obsessive, almost pathological. That kind of fixation usually stems from trauma, from some shame or insecurity long buried. So I started looking, quietly, carefully, and I found something rather interesting.
Interesting?
Would you like me to present the findings formally?
Please, I think I'm ready. Because of you, I've become a laughingstock. Do you understand that? A public spectacle. Everyone's pointing fingers, whispering behind my back. How dare you expose me like that? A public spectacle? That's a strong choice of words. Especially coming from someone who had no problem slandering others when she thought no one would call her out. You think I did this to embarrass you? No, Brenda. I did what I did to protect myself. And to protect the truth. I've had enough of being treated like garbage by you and your self-righteous family. You humiliated me in front of everyone! My in-laws won't talk to me anymore. The neighbors won't even make eye contact. Do you have any idea how that feels? Do you have any idea what it felt like being mocked for years? Being called bottom of the barrel, uneducated, undeserving, all because you assumed I was a middle school dropout. You and your little circle gossip like I wasn't even human. I told you years ago that I was enrolled in a correspondence program after junior high. You ignored that. You twisted it, turned it into a punchline. So now the truth is out. You're upset because the story you spun around yourself is crumbling. At least I graduated from high school. I took the proper entrance exams and earned my diploma fair and square. I didn't slink around behind the scenes with some low-tier certificate. Congratulations! That makes you, what, slightly taller than the shortest dwarf? You really think that gives you the right to look down on me? You're acting like we're in 2 different worlds, but in reality, your diploma and my correspondence degree, they're standing in the same muddy puddle. Neither of us went to a top university. You've just been playing pretend a little longer than I have. Wait, You graduated from university? Yes, from a distance learning program. It took time, but I finished. I didn't broadcast it because I never thought education should be a weapon. But maybe I should have, if only to shield myself from your cruelty. You tricked us. You let us believe you were uneducated. No, I said what I was. You just didn't listen. I told you, I didn't go to high school right after junior high. I enrolled in a flexible correspondence course. But you heard, didn't go to high school, and ran with it. You twisted that into middle school dropout. You fed it to your relatives, your neighbors, anyone who would listen. You labeled me beneath you without bothering to know the full story. Well, now I'm the one being laughed at. People have stopped calling me back. Family won't sit next to me at dinners. And you're the reason I'm being ridiculed. You need to fix this. Fix this? Let me get this straight. You destroyed my reputation, and now you want me to repair yours? It's the least you can do. You could make a public statement. Tell everyone you misunderstood. Apologize on my behalf. You've already done enough damage. And what exactly do you think I could say? That Brenda isn't really a snob, she just plays one at family functions? Or maybe, sorry for correcting the record, but she'd prefer to live in fiction? You're unbelievable! No, what's unbelievable is how fast you've fallen apart now that the mask is off. I'm not going to help you. You brought this on yourself. This isn't just about me. My husband's been avoiding me. My kids are asking questions I can't answer. We can't stay in this neighborhood if this keeps up. You've ruined us. And I'm supposed to care why? You didn't care when I was being torn apart by your gossip. You laughed when people whispered about my background. You encouraged it. And now you expect sympathy? This isn't fair. I made one mistake. No, you made dozens, over years. You made a career out of stepping on people like me to feel taller. So don't pretend this is one moment of misjudgment. You have to do something. I'm begging you. I can't live like this. My life is falling apart. Then maybe you'll understand finally what it feels like to be dismissed, to have no one stand up for you, to watch your identity crumble under the weight of someone else's cruelty. Welcome to the world you built for me. You're a monster, a spiteful, jealous little... Spare me. You're angry because you've been exposed, not because you feel guilty. You want your perfect facade back, but it's shattered. And guess what? You can't unbreak glass. You've ruined everything. Do you realize what you've done? Because of you, my husband's threatening to divorce me. He actually packed a bag. How could you do this to me? It's interesting that you're saying I did this to you. From my perspective, I've merely acted in a way that reflects the standards you set. I've always wanted to support your family's auto repair business. I genuinely believe in supporting small businesses. But doing that while someone like you is still involved would feel completely inappropriate, don't you think? What is that supposed to mean? Well, you've made it very clear that I was an embarrassment to your family. You called me low class, undereducated, and said someone like me shouldn't even dream of marrying into your household. So, of course, I thought it would be improper for such a shameful person to be seen supporting a family business while you were still around. I wouldn't want to stain your reputation any further. You practically told them not to accept me. You said you wouldn't support the shop unless I was out of the picture. That's blackmail. I never said anything of the sort. I simply said that I wouldn't be involved with any business or project that includes you. That's my personal boundary. If your husband chose to act on that information, well, that decision was his, not mine. He wouldn't have dared file for divorce on his own. He doesn't even know how to use the microwave without me. He's helpless alone. Even helpless people can act when they've had enough. And judging by the way you treated him, interrupting him constantly, speaking for him during our last dinner together, dismissing everything he tried to say, it doesn't surprise me that he finally snapped. You've worshipped your son to the point of ignoring your husband altogether.
How do you know all that?
Because I watched it at the family gathering. Every time he tried to speak, you silenced him. When he voiced an opinion, you corrected him. It was painful to witness. I'm not surprised that he decided he didn't want to live the rest of his life as a shadow.
No, this can't be happening. He can't leave me. He won't. I've never worked a day in my life. I don't know how to pay bills or budget or even make my own appointments. If he leaves me, what am I supposed to do?
You're a grown woman. I imagine you'll figure it out. After all, you were so confident when you judged others from your pedestal.
I was only trying to protect our family's name. When I said you weren't suitable, it was out of concern. It was never personal.
It was personal every time you rolled your eyes when I spoke. It was personal every time you introduced me to someone as the girl who didn't even finish high school. It was personal when you laughed behind my back and called me a charity case.
That was years ago. People say things. It's just talk.
And yet here you are, falling apart, because now you're the one being talked about. It's funny, really. You spent so long worried about the family's image, but didn't realize that you were the one staining it.
You want to take everything from me, is that it? Revenge?
No, I don't want anything from you. Not your apology, not your money, not your approval. I just want to live my life free from people like you. People who see kindness as weakness. People who think worth is defined by what school you went to or what car you drive.
So what now? You've destroyed my marriage. You've ruined my reputation. Are you happy?
No, I'm not happy about any of this. But I am at peace knowing I won't let people like you push me around anymore. I'm not the scared girl you gossiped about at family dinners. I've earned the life I have now, and I'm not letting you poison it.
People will know what you did. They'll see how manipulative you are.
Let them. I'm not hiding anymore. I stood up for myself, and if that makes me the villain in your story, so be it. But I think most people are starting to see who the real villain has been all along.
I have nothing left.
That's not my fault. That's the result of a lifetime spent treating people like they were disposable. Maybe now, without the illusion of superiority to prop you up, you'll find out who you really are.
I don't know how to live on my own.
Then I suggest you learn. There's no shame in starting over, unless you're too proud to grow. I may not have had a formal education, but I know enough to say this. Who you are matters more than any piece of paper. And right now, who you are isn't someone anyone wants to be around. After Brett's father divorced Brenda, she was kicked out and left on her own. Brett didn't help her. Unable to go against his father's firm stance, he moved out too. Brenda, once arrogant and dismissive of others, quickly became the neighborhood laughingstock. She struggled to adapt to working life, isolated and disliked due to her attitude. Meanwhile, I returned to my family home. Though hesitant at first, Cedric and the staff warmly welcomed me back. I lost my parents early, but thanks to the household staff's care, I never felt alone. I plan to cherish and repay their kindness moving forward.